living things just like humans, and they breathe, they feed, they can be happy and can also be sad.
Why then are some of them abused or neglected? Section 495 of the Criminal Code 1990 is one that not too many Nigerians are familiar with. It prohibits deliberate causing of suffering to animals through failure to act, some of which are cruelly beating, kicking, overloading, terrifying animals.
Now, it applies to all domestic and captive animals, including birds, fish, and reptiles. A campaign against animal cruelty is on in Nigeria with a clear message on protecting the rights of animals across the country. All right, we have with us in the studio Nollywood actress and animal enthusiast Jackie Idimogu. Jackie, good morning. It's nice to see you. All right. And we also have in the studio pet trainer Kizito Mwogu. Kizito, good morning.
Good morning.
And we also have Rose here in the studio. Rose, how are you? Rose, good morning. Hello, Rose. Hello. I think
she's shy.
Still, yeah, she's shy or she's still sleeping. All right. Now, let me start with you, Jackie. The concept of animal rights, one would say, this is Western to our society and it's something new and all of that. Talk to us about the rights of animals. What are the rights of an animal?
Well, animals are animate things like you and I. They have feelings and their rights are to be respected in every country in the world, and Nigeria shouldn't be an exception. So in Nigeria, animal rights have been neglected since the law was, put in place. It has never been enforced. So this march is to shed light, to educate the public on how to treat animals with fairness in a humane way.
When we say fairness, what would constitute fairness in treating animals? Because some would say animal treats fairly. How do you mean?
Yeah, if you cannot take care of the animal, at least don't cause harm to the animal. That's the fairness. That's what we're asking for. If you don't like animals, at least don't hurt the animal. And in Nigeria, even animals that are being used for food are not supposed to be packed together in an inhumane way. It is actually a crime in the criminal code section.
When you say inhumane, what is inhumane?
Like cows, for instance, you see them packed in these lorries with their necks tied back to their back, or you see like chickens put in a cage or in a basket and all of them are gasping for air and all that. That is inhumane.
Wow.
All right.
Interesting.
Kizito, talk to us about, when they talk about animal cruelty, what really constitutes cruelty to animals?
Cruelty is, like I always say, cruelty is when you find pleasure in causing suffering on a living being. That's the definition of cruelty. And then cruelty also means if you are not speaking out, knowing that somebody is causing suffering to a living being, that's cruelty. Now, in the term animal cruelty, it means cruelty to animals. It means almost everybody is a culprit. Now, when you now say, like when you come out with a wild animal in an average Nigerian setting, somebody will say, bushmeat, okay, you understand?
Exactly.
It is wrong. You have to just abide by these laws, and also.
So is it wrong to kill? Are you saying it's wrong to kill bushmeat? Is that what you're saying?
It is wrong.
Whoa.
Really?
It is wrong. Every animal deserve a right, deserve to live. These animal cries, they feel emotions. It is wrong. Though we have farms, people that kill them, you understand. But the fact is just that it is better to make their life worthwhile if at all you are going to kill them. Let it worth it. At least let them feel that.
Some animal dignity within the time they live.
Yes, within the time they live. And then if you have actually raised an animal and feed the animal yourself, and somebody give you a knife to kill, you know that you won't be able to kill the animal because you must have blended with your way of life.
Okay.
Yes, you must feel
I'm
emotion
bonded with the animal.
Yes, yes.
So let's look at, speaking of rights, we've been saying rights, talking about rights, right? What are these rights? Because there are people watching us who may not really understand and be What rights do animals have?
Animals, like Rosie, beautiful Rosie over there, she has a right to be loved. She has a right to live out her lifespan, at least be taken care of. Then she has a right to a painless death, if possible. Now, also, if you're going to keep a pet, if you're going to keep an animal in any way, you should make sure you are responsible for that animal full-time, 100%. Negligence of animal is wrong, and it's also animal cruelty. Like he said, if you're seeing a situation whereby animals are being abused and you turn a blind eye to it, you are part of the animal cruelty we're talking about.
Are there punishments for those who falter when it comes to...
That's exactly what I want to talk about now. These rights, these laws are in place in the Constitution, but they are not being enforced in any way, form or manner. In fact, if you cause harm to a dog, you are liable to 6 months imprisonment or 50 naira bail.
Sorry?
Yes.
Say it again.
If you are
50
caught,
naira?
50 naira bail, yes. That's the law.
Whoa.
So we are trying to beg.
Why is it 50 naira? Is it because they're animals?
Yes.
Or because the law is old and it has not been...
Yeah, that is why we are calling for a reform. A reform
50 naira.
and an enactment of these laws.
When you say you are calling for a reform, what has been the engagement with the government to ensure that these reforms that you're trying to champion, is enforced?
Well, this is our starting point. This is the first time we're going to have an animal rights month in Nigeria. This is the first time it's happening in Nigerian history. Yes. So we are hoping that this will be the first of many, so that we'll draw the attention of the government to these animal laws that they put in place and that are dormant. Yes.
Wow, really interesting. I must say, Rose, you have a right. You have a right. Don't mind anyone. You have a right. Thank you very much, Jackie, for coming on the program.
Thank you for coming.
Kizito, we have to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And Rose, it's good to have you on the show. All right. Thank you very much. Now,
Moving on now, they are living things just like humans. They breathe, they feed, they can be happy, and they can be sad.
Now, why then are some of them abused or neglected? It's a big question. Now, Section 495 of the Criminal Code 1990 is one that not too many Nigerians are familiar with. It prohibits deliberate causing of suffering to animals through failure to act.
Some of which are cruelly beating, kicking, overloading, terrifying animals. It applies to all domestic and captive animals, including birds, fish, and reptiles. A campaign against animal cruelty is on in Nigeria with a clear message on protecting the rights of animals across the country. We have in the studio a Nollywood actress and animal enthusiast, Jackie Idimogo. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Jackie, nice to see you.
Thank you for having
And we also have pet trainer Kizito Mwogo. Thank you for joining us. And he's here with Rosie.
Oh,
Hi,
Rosie.
Rosie.
Rosie's
She's
having fun.
Obviously.
Really nice.
Obviously, we're talking animal cruelty, and this is the first match. There is a match.
Yes.
Obviously, how have Nigerians responded to this first match, so to speak?
The reaction has been very interesting.
Oh, wow.
A bit abusive,
Really?
Nigerians. Of course, of course.
Because it's new.
Yes, it's new and it's foreign to them. It sounds odd that a group of people want to come out and march for animals. And, I've been getting backlashes since I, started.
In the typical Nigerian, when we've not finished the rights of human beings.
Exactly. There are so many things to match against. These ones don't get work. Now, animals,
They don't have problems.
They don't have problems. Those are the kind of reactions I've been getting. That's the negative side, but there's also been a positive side. Well-meaning Nigerians have stood up and they've told me that they're giving me 100% of their support, and we're all coming out that day. The numbers are rising, people are rising up, and yes, it's going to be a thing on the 28th of September.
Wow.
Interesting.
All right, Kizito, let's dwell more on this campaign. The point is, what is the final objective? What's the dream? What's the aim out there?
The aim is just the program is going to be very educative, and then we have to keep hammering it to give the animals the freedom, the 5 freedom of animal welfare, which is freedom from hunger, freedom from pain and distress, freedom from disease and injury, and then freedom to express their behavior, their normal behavior of all the animals. So those are the freedoms we want the society to just imbibe in, and then we should have a good animal welfare program in the country.
Let me come to you now. What is the motivation for you to push this campaign? I mean, one would wonder, like he said, they have people say they have their rights that we are still championing, and then out of the blue, you decide to go for the rights of animals, like Rosie.
Yes, there was actually a motivation. There's a video that circulated online of someone setting a dog on fire. That video was gruesome, and it triggered everything. It triggered the fire, and it triggered the purpose for the march, because that person did that purely for fun and entertainment and went scot-free.
Really?
Yes.
In Nigeria?
Yes. So that is the reason why we are marching, so that such cruel acts cannot go unpunished anymore.
Okay, let me stay with you, Jackie. When it comes to beyond this match, what other strategy is there to ensure that the section 495 of 1990 is repealed, and besides that, that the right policies are put in place in favor of these animals?
Well, we are hoping. We are hoping. All we can do is hope and do what we can. I, for one, am not a practitioner. I'm not a professional. I'm just an animal lover that has decided to bring out my time, you know, to pass this message. So I'm hoping that someone out there will hear us and pick up on it and do something about it.
Speaking about that, Kizito, what effort are you making in your end? You train, you work with animals, you work with people who own animals. What strategies are you putting in place to perhaps communicate with them on these rights? Because some of them may not even know, they just love animals.
Yeah. Yes, professionally, I will actually tell you that I am a vegan. And then telling somebody that I'm a vegan, you want to ask why. You want to imagine me going to a cafeteria and say that, please don't put that fish and meat. Say why. Then I'll start educating you. And I've been doing that for years. And then the turnout is quite encouraging. And there are still people standing up to, you know, see, the sensitization doesn't just end with the march.
Absolutely, that's why I said you connect with these people.
Yes,
on
connecting with these people is just that now we know that this is who we are. Now, what is the way forward after the march? So all of us sit down and see. We write, is it to write a petition? Is it to write a proposal? This is what we want. And then we capitalize on it and we keep moving forward. So that is it.
All right, I wonder which ministry or agency of government that you want to approach to handle this. Is it the Ministry of Agriculture? Ministry, what agency of government?
The Ministry of Agriculture, the VCN, Veterinary Council of Nigeria, the Ministry of Health, and then all the four arms of Nigerian government. Please, the Constitution is, imagine you have a fine of 50 naira or 6 months imprisonment for anybody that abuses an animal in Nigeria. 50 naira, for Christ's sake. So we need to work on this.
And
so
also,
that,
to add to what he's saying, the animal law in place does not extend to the wildlife, like wild animals. It's only for animals.
Domestic?
Yes, domestic animals and animals in captivity. The law doesn't extend to the animals living.
Animals in captivity?
Yes, animals in captivity like zoo. Animals in the zoo, yes. So it doesn't extend to wild animals that are roaming free in the wild. So that's why you see videos of people, when they see an elephant, they shoot it down. If they see a dolphin, they shoot it down. Those things are wrong. These are endangered.
Poaching.
Poaching, endangered species that are unique to Nigeria. They should be preserved, you know, and there should be something that protects them, you know, their habitats in the wild.
Right.
Interesting.
Thank you very much, Jackie Idimogu, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Kizito, thank you
Thank you so much.
And Rosie,
Oh,
nice to see you. Nice to see you. I know you're having fun. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's remind you that we're
just living things just like humans. They breathe, feed, and can be happy and then can be sold.
Now, why then are some of them abused or neglected? Section 495 of the Criminal Code 1990 is one that not too many Nigerians are familiar with. It prohibits deliberate causing of suffering to animals through failure to act.
Some of which are cruelly beating, kicking, overloading, terrifying animals. It applies to all domestic and captive animals, including birds, fish, and reptiles. A campaign against animal cruelty is on in Nigeria with a clear message on protecting the rights of animals across the country. Well, joining us in the studio is Nollywood actress and animal enthusiast Jackie Idimogu. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
And we also have pet trainer Kizito Mwogu. Kizito.
Thank you very much.
Nice
And
to
we
have
also have Rosie.
you. Rose is here. Rose is here in the studio. Welcome.
She's always shy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, before we came on set, there were talks about certain parts of the country that eat certain meat. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. You want to take me to Cross River State in Calabar or in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State?
I mean, they will tell you that this is part of their culture,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
to speak. How do you begin to challenge this cultural beliefs, so to speak?
It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but people suffer when nobody speaks up about something. These animals can't speak for themselves. They're suffering. They're suffering, and nobody is saying anything about it. They don't have the voice. So we are the voice for the animals. We're speaking for them, and we're hoping that these practices can be stopped. I know it's going to be difficult, very difficult.
And you're ready for that?
Yes. So we are fighting. We are ready to fight it. And also, not through, when I say fight, not like violence, we want to educate people and make them understand that, I mean, eating dogs, dog is a man's best friend. Seriously, how can you look at Rosie and think she's meat?
But Kizito, one of the arguments that we've had in the public space, or even the village square, is the clash between what they call the Western way of life and the indigenous culture. Like she talked about the issue of eating dog. From the concept of bushmeat and the concept of eating any of the animals that God has created, so to say.
In fact,
in
the Bible,
it has always
eat
been
and
eat, and they are all for your pleasure. Yeah. So at what point are we beginning to think that, okay,
draw the line.
Some shouldn't be eaten because you feel a bond for and you feel the bond with and all of that?
I will start by saying a quote by Mahatma Gandhi.
Okay.
He said, the greatness of a nation is judged by the way its animals are treated.
Wow.
You get. So now, the way we treat our animals boil down to how great our nation is going to be. So if we are trying to run a kind of way that we don't care about this side, we care about only humans, and then our own ecosystem are being depleted by urbanization. If you are now trying to bring out an argument from that, is it sensible? You get. So these animals, they want it. They want being treated well.
It may not be sensible to you. Now, sensibility is relative in
Exactly.
this aspect because what might not be sensible to you might be sensible to some person. So having a level playing field where I see what you're seeing is what we are trying to achieve. It's not to breathe it down people's necks, don't you think?
Throughout the world, we are hearing something about global warming, stuff
Yes.
like that. Don't you know that it is destruction of these animals' habitats that is causing all that? I don't know when Nigeria will start talking about global warming, seriously. And when you talk about global warming, there is no way you can leave the animals out of it. That is just it.
It's about the environment.
It's about the environment. So preservation of our own environment is very important.
Okay. Jackie, before we go now, I wonder, at what point did it start for you to start loving animals, where you want to take it to the next level of standing in the public place to say, no, let us protect the right of animals?
Well, I've always owned animals, pets, right from when I was small. I've always loved animals, but I realized that I I can do more than just love them. I can do more than just take care of them. I can actually speak for them. And it has been life-changing. It has been life-changing, and I'm happy that we are where we are today talking about this. This is
And
huge.
you're ready to take it a step further.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We have to leave it at this point. Thank you, Jackie, for your time.
Thank you very much.
On TVC Breakfast.
Thank
Kizito,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Rosie, thank you for coming on the
Rosie.
show. Oh, yeah.